But
Here we go.
happy 4th of July. This is the Bat X release show on covers. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. These are his numbers. It's a holiday. There are early games. That means the market is absolutely cruising right now. And I know I get it from the chat for talking too much. So let's skip the formalities and get right to it. This is the release procedure. We will tell you what book we're betting at that has the best price, hopefully give you some secondary books. Then we'll tell you the game we're betting on, give you some time, get over there, find it. Then we'll tell you what prop market we're betting on, the player, the team, the over, the under, making sure everybody can get the same price, the same number along the way. So in saying that, we literally have to just cruise here because we're losing like 50
I mean,
points.
we've lost so much value already. These lines are moving like crazy, especially this first one. So let's get it.
Yeah, for release number 1, we are at Canada Betway. US Betway is fine. Caesars is fine. DK is fine, but you're not getting, you're losing a full strikeout. And we're going to give it away accidentally, but you're losing a full strikeout in value. But both plays do project similarly. The game in question, Pirates at the Dodgers. And if you're in the chat, you might be one of the people responsible for moving these markets early. Prop market we're looking at, pitcher strikeouts. For our release number 1, Luis Ortiz under 4.5 strikeouts, minus 175. Ortiz under 4.5 strikeouts, minus 175. Where was the US Betway, Derek? Plus 115-ish, or did that one fall to about 105?
Yeah, that one fell to even money a few minutes ago. This was 4.5 minus 160, like everywhere, like an hour ago. And it's just been plummeting. It's 3.5 everywhere. Most books like minus 105, minus 110. Last we checked, I think DK, American Betway, 365 maybe. Yeah, Caesars. We're close to even money or so, which is still fine. Once this drops to 3.5, minus 110, minus 115, I've seen a minus 130 out there. I think I'm out at that point. But if you can get it 3.5 around even money, I think you're probably good here still, because we know Ortiz is kept on a super short leash. We've hit his under case several times this year, and he's facing the Dodgers. The Dodgers are one of the absolute best offenses in baseball and generally one of the least strikeout heavy ones. So if he's getting hit around, running his pitch count up, not getting strikeouts along the way, he's probably not going to last long. The bat's projecting, I think, under 3 here. It was like 2.92. So, at 4.5, we're great. At 3.5, even money, you're still looking pretty good.
Laid 60 at 7:19 a.m. That was the move. That was the stale line that set. And then, I mean, it's really no coincidence that about the time that most people wake up on a holiday morning, that line absolutely got smashed. It is what it is. DK now minus 105. Thanks for that. Thanks for the welcome back, Jonathan. Caesars plus 102. If that number's still available to you, that's kind of where the cutoff is. As Derek said, like you said, tough matchup, tough park. And I watched his game versus Luzardo in Miami. Stuff was moving, was probably one of his best starts. And then his next start versus San Diego, like his horizontal movement didn't exist. He finished with 3 swinging strikes on 69 pitches. When his stuff is flat, he's not missing bats. And it's going to be a tough matchup there. So that's why the market's going. Let's keep this train moving on a holiday Tuesday. Release number 2, we are at Bet Rivers. This one has also got pummeled, but within the key number, so not a huge movement as the difference between 4.5 and 3 strikeouts. The game in question, the O's at the Yankees. And boy, did they get to Herman yesterday. Prop market we're looking at, pitcher outs. Wow. Did I just see Eastern Canada Proline government book here in Ontario?
We just lost a
3.5
whole bunch of
plus
value on
210.
this one too. Jesus Christ. This one's been
Pivot.
trying to see if we have a better number out there somewhere. That might be. Hold on.
Now, I know what the projection is. I know where that line moved to. The projection is still under the key number.
Yeah,
Correct?
it is. Yep. This is like super borderline now. What was the number we had right there? Minus 125?
Yeah.
God, this is annoying. You know what we're gonna do? Can we go to 365?
Yeah. That's the 17 still there.
We're gonna switch the market. Same guy, different market.
Same guy, different market.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Nope.
Pivot
Producer
time.
Nick, sorry for the audible. If we can go to 365, same game. Let's go to pitcher strikeouts.
Okay. Baltimore Yankees over at 365. And then we'll discuss the pivoted play quickly after. Prop market, we're looking at pitcher strikeouts. Obviously the under here, Derek.
Under, yep.
Yeah. For release number 2, New York starting pitcher Clark Schmidt under 4.5 strikeouts plus 120. Schmidt under 4.5 Ks plus 120. This was originally a Clark Schmidt under 17.5 outs. It's moved extensively through an entire number, back down to another number, was minus 115 under 17.5. And now we're seeing that same number about the 16.5. Got crushed around 8:30. So what are the projections here for Schmidt in the afternoon game, the 1 o'clock game? And where do you make that move from pivoting from the outs to the strikeouts?
Yeah, it was getting pretty close when we were getting 16, because we had, what did you say, 17.5 minus 115 earlier. Now it's 16.5 minus 130s, minus 140s. That minus 125 was the best. That's about where I think I want to pivot over to the strikeout market. The out projection's 14.9. So the 16.5 minus 125 is still fine. It's not amazing, but it's still good. I'll take the 4.5 plus 120 though. The bat's projecting about 4.3, so it's going to win a little less often, about 57% of the time. But 57% at plus 120 is still pretty good. The rest of the market is around even money or worse. Pinnacle's minus 101. And so I'll take it here. The other thing the projections are not taking into account is that there is some rain risk in this game. My buddy Kevin Roth, the forecaster, the weather guy that I trust over at RotoGrinders, his write-up this morning said there's a pretty good chance for a delay here. So that's not even factored in the projection. Yep, Milo's saying it too. So if we get a delay, that adds a little bit of extra value on either one of these.
Oh, Milo, you sharp guy. Tough getting things past Milo. That's for sure. And a mid-afternoon rain delay. We saw it last week. We saw it with social play. What was that? The Trevor Williams, Ranger Suarez.
Ranger Suarez. That one wasn't even supposed to rain. And we were 2 outs away from hitting on him. And we get a rain delay. And the next guy comes in 15 minutes later. It wasn't even a long rain delay. 1 pitch and the inning's over. Like, come on, man. And then we got screwed on David Peterson. David Peterson, we needed 4 more outs. He was at 61 pitches. He had 40 pitches basically to get 4 outs and just gets pulled for no reason at all. Like, just.
That's okay. I lost my K prop yesterday because the Cubs decided to throw away the DH, and I hit a 5th strikeout on Michael Fulmer whiffing on 5 pitches. A pitcher strikeout in like the 5th inning. It happens. It's variance. And when we lose on that side and you have a big enough, if you have a big enough end value, you have a big enough population, you're going to win on the other side of that too with some lucky ones. So always thinking that.
Yeah, we won on Whitlock on rain a couple weeks ago, which, it's going to go both ways. It's just tough when
Oh,
it's when
Braxton.
you.
We won Braxton too.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. So they swing both ways. They work both ways. Let's keep this trade moving. We are at DK365 for this one. Let me make sure I got those numbers right. Yes. 365 we're here, but I believe DK had the same number. Game in question, Cubs at Brewers. Prop market we're looking at pitcher outs. And I love how this one hasn't moved. For release number 3, I believe Kyle Hendricks under 17.5 outs minus 115. Chicago starting pitcher Kyle Hendricks under 17.5 outs minus 115. Let us know in the chat where you got it. Let us know if maybe you're at a rogue book that's hanging a better price. Saw this Pinnacle minus 162. Now, these are the plays that will separate the difference between a rec better and maybe someone who can look into the numbers and expect a pitcher punching above his numbers. Kyle Hendricks is not the pitcher that he is right now. Obviously facing a high K percentage team in Milwaukee, but he's not a high K percentage pitcher. So we can take some of that away. 4.75 K per 9 this season. These are numbers Derek's probably already lined up that was going to say that I'm stealing the words out of his mouth. 221 BABIP, 3.4% home run to fly ball rate versus a career mark of 11.6. XFIP is 1.6 higher than his actual FIP. There is some regression coming for Kyle Hendricks, and there is some pop in the Milwaukee lineup, and this one should definitely close lower than this.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like you said, this number in particular is kind of way ahead of some of the rest of the market. I've seen one book actually move down to a 16.5. I think the sneaky part about this matchup is that they're in Milwaukee, and everyone knows Milwaukee has a roof, but the roof only works when it's cold. Milwaukee does not have air conditioning. So the roof's going to be open. It's 91 degrees. This is the best hitting weather of the day here. And I don't know if everyone's going to realize that when they just see, it's a roof game. But the roof's going to be open. It's going to be hot. And Kyle Hendricks is not the rubber arm guy he used to be, where he used to have a really long leash and throw 100 pitches. Like, he's not that guy anymore. His average, his baseline pitch count's like in the high 80s, 90 pitches. And he might wind up below that here in a tough matchup.
Some crazy movement quickly. This one really surprised me to see it hanging around at that minus 115 mark. Does your projection have this under the key number, under not to get his 15 outs?
Yep. It's 14.7 outs. So it doesn't even have him on average, getting that, quite getting that 15 mark, much less the 5 inning mark, much less the 6 inning.
Yeah. So this one projects very similar to early line Clark Schmidt, but Clark Schmidt got hammered and this one didn't. So this was really surprising. Happy to still get that minus 115. Let us know if you're settling on a different number, but lots of value even at a missed point there at the minus 130s, with Derek projecting under 15 outs. Release number 4, Bet Rivers. Let's see the outs. Secondary books. Do you have any secondary books off the top of your head, as we pivoted to this one pretty quick there around the same price?
What book are we on here? Rivers.
We're at Rivers.
I think 365 actually has a point better. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can open it here. I think Caesars has the same line, so those would be the two pivots, I think.
As I pull it up on my end, the game in question. Let's see. 1 point less at 365. Okay, so hopefully it's there. The game in question. Now this is an America Day special. This is where everyone's going to be finishing their dinner. They're going to be eating early, so everybody gets to the sofa to go check out Oakland at Detroit. Love crappy games. You can see it in the Yankees game. You can see just less handle, just less people betting into these markets. Oakland at Detroit. The prop market we're looking at, pitcher outs. Oh, we lost a point there. So 365 probably has the best line I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, 365 has 105, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 105. So let's hit this while we're here. Anyway, it's a point difference. Last release, JP Sears under 17.5 outs plus 104. That's at Rivers. 365 at plus 105. Another 17.5 out market. Sears faces the perspective on this Detroit lineup is that it's an awful lineup, but I don't think they take the edge in awful lineups anymore. They're over the last 30 days, 19th in WAR, top 10 in home runs, 15th in runs. They're not a joke of a lineup as like the Washington Oakland side of things. So I think our perspective is kind of changing on this Detroit lineup. There's some heat in Comerica Park. 5 innings or less in 3 of his last 5, while still averaging high pitch counts. That's the one thing you probably have to worry about Sears, and especially a lot of the Oakland pitchers. But he's shown not to be efficient. What are the projections here for the Oakland starter, Derek?
Yeah, this is another one where he's projecting 14.9, so not quite 5 innings as a main projection. And, we're getting a 17.5 line here at slight plus money. Like you said, Detroit is, they're not a good lineup. Detroit is pretty bad.
No.
But Sears is a lefty with a wide platoon split, and Detroit is probably going to roll out 9 right-handers against him. So even though they're not particularly good right-handers, that still does make a difference. And like you said, it's hot. It's 86 degrees here. It's the 3rd hottest game on the slate. 86 is hot. And, it's not like he has a short leash, but if he's getting hit around, he should certainly be running his pitch count up and being yanked if he gives up a few runs.
Detroit just coming off a 14-run performance Sunday in Colorado. So I'm looking at the lineup. I mean, we faded a lot of the back end of that lineup because they do run a lot of righties, lefties splits. Zach Short. Who else were we looking at? Rogers. Marisnik. Who was
Banez gets pinch hit for in the lineup, right? Is that Detroit?
Oh, Jonathan Scoop. That's who it is. Yes.
Oh yeah,
and
Scoop.
Even Banez too.
They're all about they're all about their platoon splits and pinch hitting and whatnot. So they're going to roll out a bunch of righties as soon as Sears is out. Most of those guys will be out, but they're going to take advantage of that.
All right, let's recap what we got here for a holiday Tuesday. Luis Ortiz. Under 4.5 Ks minus 175. The 3.5s were good up to about even money and above. Then we went Clark Schmidt pivot under 4.5 Ks plus 120. The outs projected well, but we missed the 16.5 at the price we wanted. Kyle Hendricks under 17.5 outs minus 115 projected for under 15 outs. And JP Sears under 17.5 outs plus 104. Sears, Hendricks, Schmidt, all projecting roughly in the 14.9s. So do with that information what you want. A lot of people got on that early. Now, Derek has great numbers. Some of Derek's best numbers do include the best hitting weather. You hear him talk about it. If someone were to look to key on a couple games, because there are some interesting things. You brought it up with the Milwaukee situation. Usually when you just look at the weather in Milwaukee, you're like, don't care, 91 degrees, roof. But not everybody knows that sometimes it's open. And there's a lot of other games today that have rain, that have issues that could see delays. If you were to target maybe 2 games or 3 games for home runs, I mean, sitting there, we've been hitting the round robins quite a bit. Which games would you go out there and target with your projections, looking for home run value? If you were to pick and choose a couple environments.
Yeah, so I definitely think that Milwaukee game for sure. I'm showing quite a bit of value on a bunch of bats in that game. I think that would be one of them. Weather-wise, the Twins-Royals game is going to be hot. The Tigers-A's game is going to be hot. So Yankees-Orioles looks pretty good for hitting weather too. So I haven't gone through all the home run projections yet today, but those are the ones where the weather environment looks good.
Good. And take note, people, that is me asking questions to help myself, as professional as it gets. But hey, it's called using your resources. When I got DC here and I want to find out where the best hitting weather is, because we've had this conversation, it's tough to find all in one spot where the best hitting environment is. We see wind, we see humidity, but then we don't see some rain, we don't see some other things. So it's really nice to take advantage of that, because like we said, and we say it a lot, it's some of the least priced stuff in. Like, we still don't think that Coors Field is priced in enough in certain markets constantly. There's a lot of room for finding edges still in MLB weather and hitting conditions. So let's leave it at that. A 4-pack and a little information for some home run chasers. We're here every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:15, free release show with Derek's numbers at the Bat and the Bat X. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. This is the Bat X release show on Covers. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 9:15. Happy Independence Day.